Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today's topic is about the idea of media relation. It is not only media relation, but how the media relation can be kept effective one. It can be maintained effectively. Effective media relationship. Media relationship to keep effectively is the matter of advertisement, is the matter of press release and writing something else in the media. We must have media good relationship. If we do not have good and effective media relationship, we cannot have our products, our just company, organization to be promoted. We cannot give the messages to the public. We cannot give the new information to the audience about our new services, new products, new items of the organization. So, media relation is one of the most and suitable, effective ideas of the concept, right? So, media relationship is quite essential. Good media relationship to be maintained is quite necessary to have the concept, to have the thought, to have the belief about it, right? So, there are some of the points, some of the tips I'm going to reflect, I'm going to narrate to those people who need the concept of media good effective relationship to write in their exams, and even it can be useful in practical and day-to-day life to those people who are running, who are conducting their organizations and companies effectively. In absence of good media relationship, people cannot maintain their business properly, cannot have the better production reach to the audience and the customers. Okay, these are the some points. Effective relation depends on how the person deals with the media person. Media person means especially with the journalist, with the TV rooms, and what sort of relationship the person happens or deals with the people. That depends upon the this person's dealing, person's activities, person's role, person's just see manners of talking with the people, behaviors of the people with the media person, right? Business communicators should develop good contacts with media outlets and journalists. Journalists are the source of having good contact with the media people, right? And if there are good relationship, if there are good contacts with the people and then with the journalist, and it becomes easy for communication and the communicators. They should ring off journalists who cover stories that are related to the company. And the company representatives always should ring up to the journalist. It is the company and organization representatives they who have to keep good relationship with the media, not with other people, with the journalist, right? And not okay outside the journalist. And the people who want to have a good or effective relationship with the media must introduce himself or herself to them, to the journalist, and talk about sheer interest in business, right? So introduce yourself to them, to the journalist, and talk about sheer interest in business. The business communicators must familiarize with the stories of the local radio and television, right? What sort of local newspapers, radios, television stories are there? The person who wants to have a good relationship with the media, that business communicators must be familiar with the local news, with the local radio, with the local televisions, and the stories how they are presented in the local level, and similar type of the stories and the media relationship must be maintained with the media people. And you need to write short and concise releases. That means it must be very short and concise releases that must be written in short language and concise words, concise, okay, see, structure of the language, not unnecessary words. You need to limit the press release to a single page so people read such releases even if they are busy and do not have time. So if it is short, if it is short releases and people read and people enjoy it, and even if they do not have enough time, they read and they enjoy and they just spend their time to read that short informations, right? Otherwise they do not read, otherwise they are busy and they cannot read the ideas that are presented there in the media relations. You must avoid putting in irrelevant details. Irrelevant details must not be included there in the media press releases. Focus on informing the audience. Audience must be informed properly. So focus should be there in the audience inform or information to the audience. There is no chance of a promotional press release getting published unless you know the editor and he or she sues a personal favor. So editors or the person, okay, media journalist must sue their favor, their support, their just see almost kind information to the business communicators, and then only it is possible to get promotional press published, releases published, otherwise it cannot be published. Do not use technical jargons, which are difficult words that must not be used. These technical jargons become difficult for the just understanding of the audience, and keep it simple so people can read and understand them easily. It means the writing should be simple, it should be quite short, it should become concise, it should be easy to understand for the audience and others. If you are sending it by email, means if the press release is being sent to the email, do not send your press release as an email attachment. If we send it as an email attachment, because it may never be noticed and downloaded by the editors. Editors may not notice it, editors may not download it, all right. So while sending the just press release, it must be away from the email, separate from the email, right? Do not use technical yes jargons. If you are sending it by email, do not send press release to email attachment. Never notice down. Just paste the content without the logo. It must be pasted without the logo. Logo should not be there. And send it in the body of the email. It should be sent in the body of the email. Use the headline of the release as the subject of the email. Yes, headline of the release must be used as the subject of the press release. Always make sure to make a follow-up, and we must follow up, right? And then see if uh, it is not followed, and what happens, then media persons may not give importance and may not think about it. You need to call the media outlet or its newsroom before the deadline and find out if they receive the release. So it is to be confirmed before the deadline. If they are not interested in the release, you may gently ask the reason for their lack of interest, why they do not want to publish it. That sort of questions must be asked. Never get discouraged if the news outlets declines to publish your press release, because sometimes it can be because of limited time, limited space, they do not publish, and they may refuse, or your release may not have been reached timely and they may not have published it. So maybe there can be different reasons, because of limited time space, because of see uh, press release not reaching on time, right? This cannot be, a press release cannot have been published, right? And then these things, uh, okay, must be maintained, right? They have limited time, and continuous efforts and experience will bear fruits in the long run, or the term. This is a term, TERM, not TEM. Please write R also, right? So it is what the idea that press release must be, or the media person must be in contact. Press release is the primary way to communicate the news media, but to make it effective, it has to be complemented by a number of media outreach efforts, right? You need to study the design of press release, photographs, brochures, information sheet, biographies, or key company personnel, contact names, address, and so on. All these things should be there, right? Need to study the design. What sort of design you want to present in the press release? What sort of photographs you need to put? What brochures, information sheet you want to keep there, right? Key component company personnel, who they are, and contact names and their address. Everything should be studied before the press release, and then only it is easy to have a good relationship, good contact with the press release media persons. Larger organizations often organize a press conference inviting journalists to share newsworthy information. This is the activities of the larger organizations. Organizers should be prepared to tackle questions by journalists, right? There are journalists, and those journalists must be asking the questions, and those questions must be tackled, must be answered by the organizers. If the organizers do not tackle the questions of the journalist, and the press release does not become meaningful, right? It takes time for business communicators to develop fruitful media relations. It is not so easy. It takes continuous effort, continuous relationship, continuous and just connection with the media person only makes it easy for the connection of the media relations. They should start by building contacts and networking across various news outlets. That means people must start. Journalists okay, must be always in good contact to have their connection. Otherwise, it is not easy for the just effective media relationship. This is how the concept of media relationship can be made clear. Good media relationship is not so easy to keep. Thank you.